Dit is nou tyd om belangrike sake te bespreek en Thys gesels nou met Ian Matthews, hoof van sakeontwikkeling van die Bravura groep.
Dankie Elsa, en natuurlik Ian, baie welkom hier by Goeiemôre, good morning.
Môre, baie dankie om hier te kan wees.
Yeah, great. Bravura, 25 years. So you've been around. But what has actually stand out for you in the last 25 years, especially when it came to the economic environment and the landscape in South Africa?
So I think there are really two parts to it. It's the macro level, which, the truth is always, it's all about cycles. Back in early 2000s, we came out from high interest rates. I think we were around about 18-20%.
Yeah.
And in a period of 4 or 5 years, the South African economy was booming. Interest rates were down 10%, and we had a budget surplus. We were growing at 4 to 7% a year. We were then hit by two tsunamis, the one being the Zuma administration and the global financial crisis, which took us in, basically put the economy back for probably about 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But I think we're coming out of that. So things are definitely improving. We're seeing inflation possibly its lowest level in 10, 15, 20 years. Then on the sort of micro level, I think the financial services industry has become very sophisticated. I think the regulatory framework around the financial service industry has, however, also increased. It's become more challenging.
Yeah.
And I would say also what we've seen is private capital has become a thing, whereas in the past everybody thought about the banks, the JSE, etc. Private capital has become very much a key element of the economy. For example, the debt funds which are starting to continue to disintermediate the banks and reduce the cost of funding in South Africa.
Actually, globally, if you have a look at it.
Absolutely.
I just think South Africa, is only picking up on it now. So it's actually good times, interesting times.
Absolutely. You take, for example, I think Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan said yesterday that private fund or private capital, private debt capital funds can be extremely dangerous, but they need to get into that market. So they are also looking to invest into those areas. Interesting enough, that's also been one of the difficulties of South Africa over the last 10, 15 years. The majors have all pretty much exited South Africa. I mean, you've still got JP Morgan in town, you've still got Citibank in town, and a couple of the others. But yeah, there were much more of those players in this market. But I think, as I say, from about 2007 to 2020 was a very difficult time for us. Interesting and difficult.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So if we have a look at your client type of selection, not just selection, but the type of clients that you work with is your high net worth individuals and mid-sized companies.
Yes.
What would you say typically is the mistakes they make, upon creating their wealth and upon exits? What is your opinion on that?
I think two areas, succession planning. We can't, as much as we would like to be, we'd all like to be here forever.
Yeah.
But time passes on and you need new talent, new skills, people that understand the new economy. People don't always think about succession planning and how they, because when you're looking to sell your business, if you don't have management, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
Well, you have a business, but it's very limited in its ability to grow and survive in an ever-changing environment. And the other thing is, unfortunately, is things like estate planning. There's nothing worse than having a founder disappear, or not, I won't say exit, and then finding that somehow you have to pay the taxes on that exit. And we've seen that many times where you have a fire sale of assets of really good businesses, but the family just need to meet the taxman's claims.
Of course. Yeah, there's only two things certain in life.
Death and taxes, exactly.
Just Ian, if we have a look at the structures that you guys can help with, okay. Look at things that's challenging, especially in the South African environment. When you structure, let's say, for instance, you do mergers, acquisitions, you do BE, structures, and there's contingency planning that you also do. Do you guys specialize in that? And how do you actually invite the public to actually get some more information in regards to that, from your side, that you guys can actually assist with it?
Well, at the end of the day, we have, people can get our contact details on our website, so there's always an opportunity for them just to contact us directly. I think we even have our emails and mobile numbers over there. So we're always ready to speak to anyone and everyone, and always very open to try and guide people as to the way they should be thinking about their futures and their business futures.
So you guys are actually active in 13 different African countries. In your opinion, which one is actually the one that's actually booming now, except for South Africa?
I would say, Africa is actually interesting in a number of ways. If you think about it, South Africa will always be key to South Africa's success over the next 20, 30 years. If you look close to us, I think the Namibian oil story can have a vast impact, not only on Namibia, but very much on South Africa
Also
through job contraction. The numbers they speak of are astounding. It's possibly one of the biggest finds in the last 20, 30 years. Having said that, if you look further afield, Northeast Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, that whole corridor over there is having great success, despite the currency difficulties that they're experiencing. But overall, if one goes beyond just the jurisdiction, I think the other story for Africa is, there's a little piece of data that people don't always notice, but the average consumption of energy by an average African today is less than what's consumed by a fridge in America. Now, you can't industrialize a continent if you don't have energy. Now, energy creation ultimately is something which is driven through either old-style or old-fashioned resources like oil and gas, which will still play a big role in Africa's development over 30 years, but also renewables like, for example, solar, wind, and the like. So certainly those are the two sort of key drivers for growth. Energy, without energy, you don't have an economy.
Yeah, of course. So just in 30 seconds, you guys are ticking all the tick boxes, but what are you guys doing differently when it comes to private financing in South Africa?
I think we have largely focused on the private capital markets, the venture capital firms, the private equity firms, the debt funds, the family offices, and also the international investors, the DFIs. Ultimately, you have to deal with those because, unfortunately, the JSE does not reflect true value anymore. And there are a lot of interested investors in Africa that are looking for opportunities, but that is private capital.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, Elsa. Over to you.
It is what it is. Thys, baie dankie vir daai insiggewende gesprek saam met jou en een. Nou onthou, jy kan adverteer op Goeiemôre, Good Morning. Stuur net vir ons 'n e-pos na sales@creatorsway.co.za vir meer inligting. Ons is binnekort weer terug en dan is dit tyd vir sport saam met Arnold Geerts, maar maak ek seker jy bly ingeskakel vir 'n baie mooi verhaal. Vredemaker is die boek van Reggie Peace en ons verken daai verhaal later 'n bietjie meer. Jy's by Goeiemôre, Good Morning.